Hey guys, welcome back to the BuzWeaver channel. We have some breaking news today from CNBC. Trump New York fraud bond cut to $175 million in appeal from $454 million. Now, as you know here on the BuzWeaver channel, we take the difficult, we take the complicated, we take the tumult, we take the confusion, and we break it down into very simple terms. And as we have talked about here last week in our video, we talked about how Trump's attorneys were saying that the amount that was posted for bond was a practical impossibility. So as we have talked about here, this isn't about the rule of law. This isn't about justice. This isn't even about fairness. This is about making things as difficult as possible for Donald Trump. And it's absolutely ridiculous. As we've said here, who cannot see what's happening at this point? A New York appeals court on Monday paused for 10 days a massive civil business fraud judgment against Donald Trump. A judgment, by the way, where there's no victim and no plaintiff. And sharply reduced to $175 million, the bond amount he will have to post to obtain a longer stay of that award. The ruling came the same day New York Attorney General 𝐀𝐦𝐚𝐳𝐨𝐧 𝐀𝐟𝐟𝐢𝐥𝐻 could start seizing the former president's real estate assets and bank accounts to satisfy the $454 million absurd amount that wasn't going to be achievable, and raising judgments after he failed to obtain an appeal bond. It wasn't that Donald Trump failed to get the bond. It was a practical impossibility. And I talked about this, or we have talked about this, that it was intentionally done this way to make it impossible. But it also allows for the media to run with these headlines. It is all to embarrass and humiliate Donald Trump. James is prevented from doing so for now due to the order from the 5-judge panel in Manhattan's Supreme Court's Appeal Division, which did not give reasons for cutting the bond threshold by 60%. Well, I would say probably because public outcry, maybe. Public outcry, and the individuals like anyone who's rational, cogent, sober-minded, at least relatively sober-minded, could clearly see what was happening. And it's absolutely astounding. And this is from Daily Wire. I just wanted to come down here to a certain point of it. Judge Arthur Engoron ruled in agreement with James last month after the Attorney General brought civil charges against Trump with no victim and no plaintiff, alleging the former president inflated his net worth and misled investors. No, that's not what happened. As Kevin O'Leary has said, people always put their assets in the best light. There wasn't anything illegal that Trump did because the banks aren't being hoodwinked, right? This is Deutsche Bank. I mean, they're going to do their due diligence, right? When you're dealing with this type of money, the banks aren't going to be hoodwinked by somebody. They're not going to be manipulated and somehow underhandedly cheated. Not even possible. In his judgment, Engoron ordered Trump to pay $350 million, which increased to $464 million, including interest, and also ordered Trump's co-defendant to pay $10 million. It's just, this is absurd. Engoron issued a summary judgment, which meant that Donald Trump couldn't enter anything into evidence. Donald Trump couldn't speak. Donald Trump couldn't bring his own witnesses. It was all intentional, just like what's happening here in Georgia. Of course, Fani Willis has all kinds of problems because of what she was doing. Because, you see, it's not genuine. What these people are doing is not genuine. And so it's going to come back in their lap because, thankfully, we have reality that helps us out in many of these situations. But it goes to show you how the media and how the establishment work so hard to make someone like Joe Biden look good while trying to make Donald Trump look bad. It's just, I don't know how people can't see it. I thought this was kind of funny here from Benny Johnson as he posted this. The court sketch of Trump smirking after scoring a massive win over, or massive W, or win, over lard-ass Letitia should be displayed at the Smithsonian. I think that's kind of funny as well. But, of course, the mockery that we were seeing, of course, and this is what it's for. This is the perfect example of why this is happening. You have Brooklyn Dad, who's just a reprehensible human being altogether, who just mocks and smears and makes fun of. You see it here. Eric Trump, in brutal self-own, says insurance companies were laughing at his as he tried to secure the money. Now, I don't know whether or not they were actually laughing. It was just an impossibility. It wasn't possible. But as you can see here, as I mentioned up here, and I researched this, as we talked about in the video from last week, the average bank in the U.S. has anywhere from $50,000 to $200,000 in physical cash money. So if you needed $464 million cash money, that they'd have to get that from 2,320 banks across the United States to get that money. And as of March 29, 2023, the U.S. Federal Reserve has $8.7 trillion, one of the few banks that would have that kind of money. Now, there was somebody who responded to this. I don't know whether it's here or not, but she mentioned back in 1999, before the Y2K bug, that the bank where she worked had at least $1 million. But still, the point that I made to her was the fact that they wanted $464 million for a bond, and there's no bank, maybe Deutsche Bank. I think Deutsche Bank, where Trump actually borrowed the money for his building, they probably have that kind of money. I looked a little bit into Deutsche Bank, and they do, and I'm pretty sure, as I recall, they would have enough, but it's for a bond, right? It goes through a particular process. But it's absolutely astounding to me because, see, now even when that happened, even when Trump got his appeal, the mocking still continues. Trump gets special treatment again. New York court rules Trump can post a smaller bond of $175 million in his civil fraud case. Look, there's no plaintiff. There's no victim. This is all to mock Trump. You see what I'm saying? He was mocked here by Mike, and then he was mocked over here by Brooklyn Dad. So this is the exercise. This is the formula. This is what they're doing. This is the formulaic process that they're using to make Donald Trump look as bad as possible. Do I sound like a broken record now? I mean, it's just extraordinary how, I talk about these things. And yet the same people like Brooklyn Dad and like Mike, people, ironically enough, another person named Mike that I went to school with on Facebook, and they keep talking about this as though it's like there's some sort of divorce from reality here. There's this concept or idea that Trump is such a villain, that they hate Trump so much that rational thought, cogent thought, or even when they like to say logic, is thrown completely out the window. Their hatred for Donald Trump is so massive that it blinds them from any rational, cogent thinking. It's absolutely extraordinary. But I'm glad that Donald Trump hung in there. So this means that he will still be able to run his businesses as normal, until he produces the $175 million, which he probably will be able to do. I know there's even people out there doing donations for it, GoFundMe's and stuff to help out Donald Trump. So I think he'll be able to manage this. But as I said, they waited till the last minute, and this is very indicative of what the Democrats do when it comes to shutting down government, right? They always wait till the last minute because there's this absurd self-aggrandizing, this self-glorification, this self-righteousness that comes from these groups of people because they want to be in power. They want to look like they have the power to control everything that's going on. And it's absolutely, it's evil. It's just, at this point, it's evil. We are engaged in spiritual warfare that's going on every single day. As much as we try to ground ourselves in reality, there is, this is just one existence that we're in. For example, this is our physical existence, of course, and then there's the spiritual realm. And the battle continues, whether it's in our physical self or in the spiritual world. It's just a constant battle, and evil exists. And this is an example of that. People may frown on that and say, well, it's just the circumstances and conditions and the reality of our existence. I totally understand that. But there's always something behind it. And so it's absolutely extraordinary. But I want to thank all you guys on Rumble, Odyssey, BitChute, all you guys helping out there across New Tech. Amazing. Thank you so much for the likes and shares and comments, as well as all you guys here on YouTube. I appreciate your guys' continued support with the likes, the shares, and the comments, and, of course, engaging in links that you can find below this video that helps out the channel. All as greatly appreciated. And I'll see all you, appearing there on the screen is the channel icon for YouTube. You guys watching on YouTube can click on that to subscribe, as well as to select notifications. That way you know when there's content here on the channel. And I'll see all you guys in the next video.